Hi, coaches. Welcome back to Big Rule the World. Just one thing, we should be good now. Hi, coaches. Welcome back to Big Rule the World. Coach Allen, and today we're just filming a short little episode continuing our series on the squat. As you get into your off-season stuff with your team, we're going to be talking about 3 common problems we see with the squat and how we can fix them. I know a lot of y'all, this might not be the content you want necessarily for the offensive line page, but it's good stuff as we're getting into the summer workouts. I suggest you all, pay attention to how you can get better, whether it's getting better in the weight room, whether it's getting better um, as a coordinator, whether it's getting better in your relationships with your kids. Focus on how to get better today. First thing we want to talk about is common problem I see is if heels are rising up. Okay, I did this before. I'm gonna do it again. When you see a guy squat, their heel comes up and they put the weight on their toe right there. Okay, what's a common problem we can do it? We can fix that. I like to take a small weight, like a 5 or a 10-pound weight, and slide it back underneath their heels and tell them they have to keep their heels down. Okay, usually the heel doesn't rise up that much, but now they're pushing that weight back through their heels. Now, what does the heel weight being up on the toes, what does that lead to? A lot of times it leads to unbalanced athletes. We teach them to keep their weight back and everything. You want to sit back. And now we got them tipping forward almost. Okay? So that's one way we fix that. All right? And that's one way we keep the weight back. Now, another way, if you see a kid constantly eyes looking down right here as they squat, you don't like that. Don't like that at all. Because eventually, when the eyes go down right here, you're going to see their backs round. You're going to see everything transferred to that back instead of the squat, instead of the leg muscles. And also, you can have an athlete tip over. Okay, it goes back to why we fix that. So what I like to do is I'll have a point up on the ceiling that I will tell them are way up, like above where eye level focus is up here. Okay, and I'll tell my athletes to go ahead and look up at that point. And if we look up at that point as we're dropping low, 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 and then a coach is going to tell you when you're good at proper depth. Okay, so that's how we fix the eyes going down, the back rounding. Now we're getting all that weight focused to be back. All right, that's another reason we talked about in the last episode, that I like box squats. I like box squats because it almost forces you to keep that weight back more. I don't like box squats as a substitution for a traditional back squat. I just like it as an addition, a different type of lift that you can do because we're going to be squatting every day almost. This last thing that I see a lot of times with guys is this stance. Their stance in the squat, whether it's too narrow, too wide. Okay, I like to get my guys in a position where they're about feet are just outside their hips, and we work from there. Now, how do we get the squat how do we get the squat, the pose, the just sort of getting into a comfortable position? Because athletes aren't used to it. I get kids in the weight room all the time who are 7th or 8th graders, sometimes 9th graders, who have never been in a weight room before and they've never squatted down before. So you have to get them in that position. So what we'll do is we'll go to the rack, we'll grab onto a bar. You can do this at home, and we just work to hold the bar and just keep your feet in a good balanced position naturally and just work your butt to the ground. I like to go parallel when I'm working that exercise. I'll get them to do a set of 10 before they go in and do their reps for the squat. That way they're getting that muscle memory of butt down, butt down, butt down. And that way I can look at their feet. Okay, because sometimes I'll get feet flaring out and I got to bring them in. That's where I like that weight on that heel, weight in the heel exercise again, where you can sit their weight back, it's 2.5, 5-pound weight, sit their heels back. It keeps them in the spot they need to be. So we'll work on that. We'll also bring the goblet squat in where we'll take a heavy dumbbell or kettlebell. It forces us to keep our chest up. It's locked onto our chest right here. We're looking up. We're staying in a good athletic position, and we're just dropping our feet back. A couple coaching points. I tell my guys we're never going to be too narrow or too wide because we're not going to do stuff that we don't do on the field. Okay, I'm not going to get in a narrow position on the field where my feet are in tight together because I'll be off balance. I won't be able to generate any power. If I get in a too wide a position, I'll never be able to move. The first step I'll have to make is to come back to balance. Okay? I'm never going to drop my eyes on the ground. I tell this all the time to guys, and we rep it in different exercises too, whether we're doing bent over rows or we're doing something else. I said we're never going to be looking at the ground on the field, guys. We're going to have our eyes up the whole time. So why practice something now that you're not going to rep on the game? Okay? That's just some ways you can bring football into the weight room, some coaching points for you all. Remember, guys, we got to get better. And squat's a big thing we got to get better at. All right? Lord knows. And another tip for y'all, stop posting these squat stop posting squat videos to social media. I'd never do it for a kid just because you're going to get 1,000 form Nazis and all that stuff coming to you about, whether the squat's low enough, whether the squat was wide enough, what this and that and this and that. I'm like, I'm not even going to post squat videos to YouTube. Okay? Because there's always going to be a critiquer in there. There's always going to be a critiquer if you post in social media. Now, I have seen some before that I go, okay, that was posted and nobody's going to be able to say anything. And it just happens. That's a great squat. So if you get a couple of those, go ahead and do it. Otherwise, be careful, guys, when you post those videos. All right, just tips for coaches on coaching the squat. Remember, guys, we got to get better at the squat. If we want to dominate the trenches, we got to know that bigs rule the world. I'll see you next time, coaches.